The video opens with tense music, the kind that crawls under your skin and refuses to leave. The screen flickers with a dim photo of Yu Menglong's last known hotel room. The narrator's voice drops low, almost whispering urgent, grave, impossible to ignore. In that room, the one Yu Menglong checked into just 2 nights before the announcement of his death, there was something under the bed. Something that no one was supposed to see. What the investigators found there completely changed everything we thought we knew about his final moments. By the end of this video, you'll understand why that hidden discovery could rewrite the truth behind Yu Menglong's death and why everyone who's ever entered that room since has refused to stay the night. The story dives in fast. Room 901 of the Jingrui Grand Hotel, Beijing. September 9th, 2 days before the official report of Yu Menglong's passing. Surveillance footage confirmed his check-in, calm, hooded, moving with that same quiet composure fans always noticed in interviews. He was alone. No staff followed him up. No entourage, no bodyguard, no assistant. But what was strange was how he moved when he reached the door. He paused. Then turned slowly as though someone had just whispered his name. The hallway cameras captured nothing else, yet a faint glitch, a white flicker, appeared right before he entered. The hotel's tech team called it a camera interference. But the timestamp was exactly 3 minutes and 17 seconds, the same minute his phone signal dropped off the grid. Inside, the room looked ordinary. A single bed, neat curtains, untouched minibar. But 3 days later, when the cleaners came to sanitize after police cleared the site, the smell hit them first. Not decay. Not rot. But something else, chemical, bitter, like old formalin. The housekeeping staff filed a quiet report, but one cleaner, Ms. Zhao, couldn't sleep that night. She swore she saw something move under the bed when she bent to pick up the fallen keycard. When investigators came back, they lifted the bed. What they found stunned them into silence. Underneath the mattress frame, wedged tight against the wall, was a black velvet box, no larger than a shoe case. The lid bore no logo, no initials. Only a small strip of old paper taped across the top with 2 handwritten characters, Menglong, written in what looked like his handwriting. Inside the box were 3 things. A USB drive, a crumpled photograph, and a single vial half filled with a pale, luminescent fluid that seemed to glow faintly even in the dim light. The police assumed it was some kind of personal memento. But when they examined the photo, their confusion turned to horror. The image showed Yu Menglong standing in front of a mirror, except the reflection wasn't him. In the reflection, the man's eyes were completely black. No whites. Just empty darkness. Experts said it was edited. But when forensic analysts tested the physical photo, they found no digital layering, no manipulation. It was printed directly from an old analog negative. The USB drive contained a 14-second video clip. No date, no title, no metadata. Just static, then the faint sound of breathing. And at the 7-second mark, Menglong's voice, whispering, "If you find this, don't let them in. They know I've seen it." That clip spread briefly through encrypted chat rooms among journalists before it vanished. The file deleted itself after one playthrough. But one reporter, known only by the alias K9, claimed to have transcribed the audio waveform manually. He revealed something chilling: the faint hum behind Menglong's voice wasn't white noise. When enhanced, it revealed a low-frequency chant. A human voice repeating the same 3 Mandarin words over and over: "Wake up." Hotel staff were told not to speak about it, but rumors spread quickly through the dark corners of social media. Fans began to visit the Jingrui Grand Hotel, room 901, trying to take photos. The management sealed the floor entirely, citing structural repairs. But the real reason? Every single maintenance worker who entered room 901 after that night reported the same thing: their phones would die, their watches would stop, and a faint scratching sound would echo from beneath the bedframe, even when it was empty. Weeks later, a leak emerged, supposedly from a dismissed staff member. He claimed the hotel's hidden security footage from the early morning of September 10th captured a shadow in Menglong's room hours after he had already checked in. A tall figure. No face. Moving soundlessly around the room before crouching under the bed. Authorities dismissed it as a hoax, but the timestamp matched perfectly, 2:44 a.m., the same time the guest in the next room called reception, complaining about a rhythmic tapping sound coming through the wall. When cleaners were later interviewed off-record, one mentioned seeing fingerprints under the bed, not Menglong's. Too large, too wide, and burned into the metal frame as if seared there. By the time police reopened the investigation, the velvet box had already been removed. The forensic report marked it as transferred to higher authority custody. But when journalists requested the item list, the box was missing from all official archives. It simply didn't exist anymore. Here's where things got even stranger. 2 nights after that, someone broke into the Jingrue Hotel's basement storage. CCTV caught a glimpse of a woman wearing a black hood and gloves, carrying a small flashlight. She ignored the front desk, went straight down the back stairwell, and stayed underground for 22 minutes. She left carrying a velvet box identical to the one found under Menglong's bed. Later, online detectives compared her body frame and movement to a known figure, Song Iran, Menglong's longtime friend and rumored confidant. While nothing was ever confirmed, a blurry frame caught her hand trembling as she touched the elevator panel, and for one frame, her reflection in the elevator mirror seemed to flicker twice. Investigators tried to trace where the box went. But a week later, an anonymous listing appeared on the dark web, under the name Project 901. It offered access to a file linked to Yu Menglong's unreleased final statement for 1.8 Bitcoin. The description included the same symbol that had been carved on the vial, an interlocking circle and triangle eerily similar to a mark seen once before on his old art project in 2019, which he had called The Watchers Beneath. The listing was deleted within hours, but not before several users downloaded it. Most of their accounts have since gone dark. One uploader, claiming to have viewed the contents, said the file contained a single frame of Menglong sitting at his hotel desk, pale, motionless, his hand frozen mid-air as though trying to write something. Behind him, barely visible, was a shadow crouching under the bed. The witness said the shadow blinked. Now, here's the part that chills every viewer who dares to look deeper. When Menglong's official autopsy was quietly reclassified and released to a restricted circle, an internal note stated that a faint, glowing residue was found on his fingertips identical in chemical structure to the fluid from the vial. The residue was bioluminescent. Unidentifiable. Not from any known chemical registry. Doctors said it was harmless. But one coroner resigned the next day, refusing to explain why. There's one more piece to this puzzle, something that no one noticed at first. In the leaked hotel booking form, the contact email wasn't Menglong's official studio address. It was a private one, 901@shadowmail.cn. The account, when traced, led to an inactive domain registered under a name that translates to Watcher09. But there was a single outbox message. A draft, never sent. It read, "They told me the room was empty. But it wasn't. I heard breathing under the bed before I even turned the lights on." The message ended abruptly. "Today, room 901 remains sealed. The door is painted over, the number removed. Staff claim it's been merged with an adjacent suite, but floor plans still show an empty square where it once stood. Urban explorers who have tried sneaking up to the 9th floor say the corridor feels colder, unnaturally so. One uploaded a video last month showing their temperature reader dropping from 22 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius as they neared the sealed door. Then their MIC caught something faint, the sound of a man humming the melody of Missing You, one of Yu Menglong's last unreleased demo songs. The video was taken down within 24 hours. But here's what pulls the story into the realm of the impossible. The same cleaner, Ms. Zhao, who discovered the box, was interviewed recently. In her statement, she mentioned something never reported before. She said, "When I bent down, I didn't just see a box. I saw eyes. Someone's eyes looking back at me from under the bed. I blinked, and it was gone. Then the box was there." Her voice trembled as she continued, "It wasn't his face. It was like a reflection of him, but hollow." Viewers, imagine this. A man, alone in his hotel room, leaving behind a cryptic message, a vial that glows on its own, and a box with his name written in his own handwriting, found under his bed after his death. Was Yu Menglong trying to warn someone? Did he uncover something that shouldn't exist, something that followed him into that room? Or was this the ultimate performance, a coded farewell from a man who blurred the line between art and reality? Even now, no one knows what was really under that bed before the velvet box appeared. Some believe the box was only a decoy, that whatever crouched beneath that frame never left when they lifted it. Because according to the hotel's night guard, 2 weeks after the room was sealed, someone called reception from the internal line of room 901. And when they checked the logs, the call lasted exactly 14 seconds, the same length as the video clip on that USB drive. The voice on the line said just one thing before cutting off. Wake up. The footage, the residue, the missing evidence, the disappearing file, it all forms a chilling pattern. Every trace linked to room 901 seems to erase itself after exposure, as if something doesn't want the truth remembered. Some fans claim that if you play his unreleased song Dream without an end backward, a whisper can be heard between the verses, a low murmur that repeats his own name followed by those same 3 words, wake up. Coincidence? Maybe. But for those who've watched closely, who've seen how every story connected to Yu Menglong's final days circles back to room 901, the coincidences have become too exact to ignore. And that brings us to the question haunting everyone who's followed this case. What was really under that bed before they found the box? The investigators' original notes, later leaked online, describe an indentation in the carpet roughly the length of a person's body, but with no heat trace, no biological residue, nothing that suggested someone had actually been there. Yet the fibers of the carpet had been compressed, from the inside out. If this story has taught us anything, it's that sometimes the truth hides where no one dares to look, beneath the ordinary, beneath the comfortable, beneath the bed we think is safe. Maybe that's why the staff sealed off room 901. Not because of what was found there, but because of what still might be. And maybe, just maybe, somewhere between the static and the silence, Yu Menglong's voice is still whispering, don't let them in. If you've made it this far, you've just stepped into one of the most mysterious unsolved threads in modern Chinese entertainment history, the case of Yu Menglong and the secret beneath the bed in room 901. Now, it's your turn. Do you think Yu Menglong discovered something supernatural that night? Or was it all part of an elaborate cover-up, something far darker than we can imagine? The video fades in with a slow heartbeat sound. The frame tightens on the infamous photo of room 901, the curtains drawn halfway, the light of Beijing's night barely leaking through. A whisper overlays the background, wake up, repeating faintly as the narrator's voice cuts in, steady, intense. Last time, we told you what they found under Yu Menglong's hotel bed, a velvet box marked with his own name. But what if I told you that wasn't the only thing beneath that bed? The tension climbs instantly. Viewers are already hooked. Because new leaked evidence from the Jingrui Grand Hotel's internal logs reveals there were 2 distinct heat signatures detected beneath that bed before police arrived. 1 still warm. The story unfolds like a slow, haunting movie. The day after Menglong's body was removed, the hotel quietly replaced the carpeting in room 901. No one questioned it. But an anonymous maintenance worker, known only online as Unit 7, claimed the carpet wasn't replaced because of stains. He said it was because the floorboards underneath were warped, as though something had burned through from beneath. He described the smell, not blood, not mold. It was like ozone, the air after lightning strikes. And when I pried up the boards, there was a thin residue. Like skin, but metallic. The footage he recorded never surfaced publicly. His channel vanished 3 days after he posted the teaser clip, but one frame survived, reposted by thousands before it was wiped. In that single frame, you can clearly see the outline of a handprint, pressed upward into the wooden slats from below the bed. A hand too large to be Menglong's, too inhumanly thin, the fingers stretched like branches reaching for light. That same night, hotel security reported a power surge across the entire 9th floor. Surveillance cameras went offline for exactly 14 minutes, the same length as the USB clip Menglong left behind. When power returned, every clock on the corridor displayed 2:44 a.m., frozen on the minute the neighbor had reported scratching sounds through the wall. Guests in room 903, directly beside Menglong's suite, filed a formal complaint the next morning. They'd heard a deep thud, then a dragging noise that lasted for nearly a minute. The sound, they said, came from under the floor, and it stopped only when someone upstairs screamed. But the hotel's official statement denied any disturbance. They said, "No guests reported unusual sounds. Except we've seen the original forms signed, timestamped, and later retracted." When investigators lifted the bed that first time, they found the velvet box wedged tightly against the corner, but what no one mentioned in the police report was the layer of black dust coating the floor beneath it. One officer described it privately as ash. But when the lab analyzed it, the sample contained trace amounts of collagen and calcium phosphate elements found in bone. And in the ash, tiny metallic flakes of the same unknown material found in the glowing vial. The vial was only half full. The question is, where did the other half go? Here's where the story takes an even darker turn. A digital leak from the forensic database, posted briefly on a private investigative forum, claimed that the residue on the vial's rim contained 2 DNA profiles, one belonging to Yu Menglong, and one completely unidentifiable. The second profile didn't match any national database. It didn't even register as fully human. Its molecular structure showed something beyond natural patterns, a genetic mutation that shouldn't exist. The report was deleted less than an hour later. Now, you might be wondering, what did Yu Menglong see in that room that made him record that haunting whisper, "Don't let them in"? Well, one of the security staff from that night, speaking anonymously to an independent journalist, claimed that before Menglong's room was sealed, his bathroom mirror had been shattered from the inside out. Fragments of glass were embedded into the opposite wall. There were no signs of forced entry. No prints. No blood. But the reflection on one remaining shard of glass captured something eerie, the faint shape of a face behind Menglong, even though he had been alone. The forensic team dismissed it as a light artifact. But the unedited image, leaked weeks later, shows something undeniable: 2 dark eyes, not aligned with human anatomy, too wide apart, and too black to reflect light. When the cleaners came in days later, the bed frame was still in perfect shape except for one thing. The underside of the frame had deep scratch marks, arranged in a circular pattern, as if someone or something had been trying to draw symbols into the metal. Each mark was precisely spaced. 12 total. And when you overlay those marks with the sigil engraved on the vial found in the box, they match perfectly. Was it a coincidence? Or was someone, or something, carving that pattern from underneath while Menglong was still in the room? An even more disturbing discovery came from one of the hotel's old maintenance blueprints. Room 901 had once been part of a storage area decades ago, before renovations divided it into separate suites. Underneath the floor, a sealed crawlspace existed, never listed on modern records. A narrow gap, just tall enough for a person to lie in. That space had been sealed off with concrete years ago. At least, that's what the hotel claimed. But when local ghost hunters tried mapping the area with ground-penetrating radar, they picked up a hollow chamber exactly beneath the position of the bed. A chamber that shouldn't be there. You can almost feel the tension tighten as the video's visuals shift, the room overlaying with faint red thermal scans, eerie background hums rising. What if what they found under Yu Menglong's bed wasn't just an object, but a doorway, the narrator asks. Because, according to a second leak from the incident logs, the glowing residue found on his fingertips and in the vial shares a molecular luminescence identical to deep-sea bioluminescent organisms. Yet there's no record of any exposure to marine environments in the hotel or in Menglong's recent travel history. So how did something that belongs thousands of meters underwater end up beneath a hotel bed in Beijing? And then, there's the final piece, the audio. The original 14-second clip found on the USB was said to end with silence. But when the gain was increased by 400%, a faint rhythmic sound appeared in the last 3 seconds, like something crawling slowly across a surface. Audio experts analyzed it and realized the pattern wasn't random. It matched the exact rhythm of a heartbeat. Only, it was inverted. A heartbeat recorded backward. The implication? That clip wasn't recorded in that moment. It was recorded from the other side of something. Weeks later, guests staying in room 801, directly beneath Menglong's floor, began reporting strange occurrences. Late at night, their beds would shake slightly, as if someone was pacing above them. But the 9th floor had been sealed off completely. One guest, a journalist visiting from Taiwan, said she woke at 3:17 a.m. to find dust falling from her ceiling and a muffled voice whispering through the vent. She recorded it. The clip, now circulating online under the name 901 Transmission, plays only 7 seconds before it cuts to static. But in those 7 seconds, you can clearly hear a male voice saying, "It's not under the bed anymore." When this story hit the internet, fans flooded the comments with theories. Some said Menglong had become obsessed with ancient esoteric rituals for his upcoming film project. Others believed he had stumbled upon something he was never meant to find. But one theory stands out, and it connects every eerie event to a single night. On September 8, just hours before he checked into the Jingrue Grand Hotel, Menglong had posted an encrypted message on his private account. "To the one beneath, I'm ready." The post was deleted 5 minutes later. So maybe, just maybe, what was found under that bed wasn't placed there by someone else. Maybe it was something he invited, something he thought he could control, or understand, or record. But whatever that thing was, it didn't leave quietly. Because even now, according to staff who've guarded the 9th floor since its closure, strange noises still echo behind the sealed door. And every 9th of the month, the anniversary of his final check-in, the hotel's electricity dips for exactly 14 seconds. The same duration as his message. The same number on his room key. The same heartbeat of the mystery that refuses to die. And now you know why what they found under Yu Menglong's bed continues to terrify investigators and fans alike. It wasn't just a box. It wasn't just a clue. It was something alive, or something pretending to be. So what do you think? Was Yu Menglong communicating with something supernatural that night? Or was he uncovering a hidden secret the hotel was desperate to keep buried? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know your theories. And if this story gave you chills, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more deep investigations and hidden truths behind the mysteries of Asia's most haunting celebrity stories. Because next time, we'll explore who opened that velvet box after it disappeared.